It was very hard for me as a child. It was very difficult at that point. Always this disconnect. I grew up in South Africa, very much part of the culture there. We lived on this off-grid farm, and that's where I grew up. In the traditions and how people lived, it was very comfortable to me. My name is Lisa Silva. I live in the central part of Portugal, where I run retreats. I am a non-dual teacher and a midwife, helping people to birth a new consciousness. African shamanism, African traditions, it was very much part of my life as well, my own culture. Of course, I was bullied in school because I was different. I couldn't understand why people would be angry or why people would be horrible to each other. It felt like that was the disconnect for me. It felt there was something missing, and I didn't get it from the external part of my experience. My parents, especially my mother, was very strictly Christian. We had to attend all the church events. You are saying that God is so wonderful, but I'm going to die in eternity and burn in hell for eternity. And the two didn't quite work for me. So I found even this connection quite difficult for me. The time of apartheid was very suppressed. So the best way at that time to explore anything was to go to a library. I went to a library and started reading about Buddhism. So this was my first point of finding, yes, this feels like this could be something that is more resonating with how I feel. Wow, okay, this could be a different way of life, of understanding. This was quite liberating. But this put me on a journey of exploration. Ended up working in the financial services in South Africa. I quickly progressed and then worked as a financial advisor, mortgage advisor there. And then I decided to come to the UK, to London. As you grow up, as you get a bit older, you learn to cope with this disconnection. So you find different ways to try and fill the gap, this lack that you feel. And so, of course, it's externalized. And I thought in a career, if I could do well in a career, and of course, it paid the bills and I was doing well. I still felt that sense of disconnection. I was about 33 years old when it suddenly came on. A sudden onset of illness, headaches, radiating down my back, into my spine, neck pain. And I went to the doctors and I was very quickly tested, and they saw that I had a growth on my brain. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which was a chronic pain condition all over the body. I had this growth in my brain. It was a cyst, still present in my brain, and apparently I've had it since birth, but it increased in size. Multiple sclerosis, the list went on and on and on. But it progressed very quickly. It wasn't gradual. I very quickly had the pain, and from the pain, very quickly I had numbness in my body. And then I was in a wheelchair within months. Within a year, I started needing care. And so for the most part, I became housebound, bedbound. And my childhood was very violent. There was a lot of abuse, physical, emotional, sexual abuse happened. And the trauma was stored in the body. It had to go somewhere. And today, in modern day understanding of trauma, we know that it is the central nervous system is involved. I went through a process of fear, then a process of anger, and then a process of make me better. Give me that magic pill, give me this magic treatment, make it stop. So I was on morphine every day, just to wake up and to be able to function to a point where I could get dressed. So just chronic pain all over my body. And there was one appointment where I went to see a neurologist, and he said that unfortunately there is nothing more we can do for you at this point. You have to now find a way to live with this condition. It was really devastating to me. This is my life, nothing can be done. Wow, my life has ended. Everything I hoped and dreamed for has stopped. I thought in my mind that I was gonna die. How will I prepare myself for the inevitable to come? And so this was the shift in the body. It was first that moment of acceptance. In some way, it was a relief to get to that point. And from that shift, I ended up doing a multitude of different disciplines. Ram Dass, the books of Master Eckhart. One of the ones that I think was quite important to me was a book called The Course in Miracles. In the book, there was practices in what to do within the body. But one of the main ones for me was Ramana Maharishi. So bringing presence. And I found that it was such a simple teaching, one. It wasn't much more for me to do, but just to know the self. Subtly starting to remove the egoic part of the experience, my mind. I was never trying to heal my body. I used the pain to drive me into presence. Because I understood that in the body, I could feel the pain very intensely, but it was felt now. And also I felt a deep sense of calm and peace. The more present I could be at the moment of death, the more at peace I would be. With each pain, there was an emotion. What was behind the pain in the body, where they came from, what they were, and I could bring them into presence. It was about a year in that I realized, wow, my body's changing. I'm starting to feel my leg. I was like, okay, I think I can move on. And at the moment that I was continent again, this was like, for me, incredibly life-changing. It was no longer about healing or dying, so I was letting go of the concept of dying also. Okay, I'm not going to try and heal myself. I am just going to remain there. What I found was not happiness or joy. I found peace. I realized that the body needed help also. There was emotions, stuck trauma in the physical vessel. So I tried various different things. I had Reiki, I had sound baths. I tried many subtle energies. They really made me feel wonderful, but it wasn't powerful enough for me to really create the shift in my body that I needed. I needed to step up my efforts and go into deeper medicines that work a little bit harder. So I started to explore entheogenic medicines. So one of the first things I researched was ayahuasca. So I realized that ayahuasca was also able to work on the body-mind. So I wanted to explore how can I really get deeper into the understanding, because I was missing something. It took months to really prepare my body, detoxify, really follow the strict diet. My first experience was horrific. It was just so horrific. I said, even during the ceremony, I said to myself, I will never do this again. I will never drink this stuff ever again. It was just the reliving of many of the stuff that happened to me. There must be something in this also. So I went back. I did it again. I had to look in the mirror, really look, with open and honesty. It's not so much about the cause, but about your relationship to it. So I could even understand, I felt my parents, I felt what they were going through at the time. And I felt so much love and compassion for them. Wow, they were so young and still trying to find their own way, and the forgiveness that I could feel. But ayahuasca showed me that as a child at that age, I experienced abandonment. And then I bonded with my grandmother, and then I was removed again, and there was a double abandonment that happened for me. I didn't want to be sick, but I needed it. Because as long as I remained unwell, my family would not abandon me. And although I didn't want it, I needed it. There was a part of me that still needed that security of that very thing that you are trying to get rid of. So this was difficult for me, of course, to experience, to go through these emotions, and it was relentless, and it kept going, and it was hours and hours, and purging, physical purging, of leaving the body, and I understood the process. I did 11-day retreats of ayahuasca. By 5-6 days, you're so exhausted, but I was so committed to diving deeper and deeper. About 7 or 8 ceremonies in, the process started to change for me. It became more of a very loving experience, deeper connection again back to myself, but not just myself, but to nature, to other people, the people that were there in ceremony. I could feel also their pain, their love, their compassion as very much a part of myself. I realized that we were all suffering in the same way, in the mind, and that there was no distinction. We were all these different vessels, but we all suffered the same way. And there's such a deep connection that I had with people that furthered my calling to work with these medicines, to go into that. But there was still a little bit of pain left in my legs. So I was already at that point, I would say 90% better. And afterwards somebody said to me, you should try Kambo. The Kambo frog, which is a Phyllomedusum bicolor, it lives high up in the trees in the Amazon rainforest. The bufo toad lives in the ground. So it's the Sonoran desert toad, is where bufo comes from, and they live deep under the ground for a part of the season. They both have a similar family, but different energies. The first time I used Kambo was, for me, a very euphoric experience. It shouldn't be, but it was. It brought me very, very calm, deep purging, of course. But the pain in my legs or the burning in my legs disappeared at that point and never returned. Never. It's its ability to release energy in the body where it is stored, and how intelligent it was just incredible. And then I started training to work with Kambo in a safe, respectful way. If you feel that you need to purge this way, let go of all mind concepts that somebody can hear me, the sound of the same person, to take a deep breath in. You hold your breath, you put it against your nose, and we go, just quickly blow it into your nose. These people have illnesses, and for some of them, it was very much like my own journey, the end of the line. They've reached the end of all the other therapies. Because the medicine gave me my life back, I wanted to give my life to the medicine. It was almost an exchange that became an automatic seva, a selfless service it just unfolded within me. Studying more about trauma, working with clinical psychologists, I wanted to keep going. The possibility within the medicine to let go of physical stored trauma in the body. There's something about Kambo that cannot scientifically be explained. And this is the part that we're really working on. So yes, we can say it's like this in the body, it behaves like that. But there's something else, of course, energetically. Learning as well the culture and the songs, and how to work that, because they had this knowledge for hundreds of years. So how can we adapt that and still bring that into perhaps our modern way of living, which is slightly different? One night, Ayahuasca left me. It just stopped. It didn't work for me anymore. I had no ancestral connection, not to my guides, not to ancestor, not to the jungle, to the forest, to the mother. I lost this one magic that I really thought I was going to carry forever. And so a friend of mine was already working with Bufo therapeutically. And so I contacted him and I said, I'm thinking about trying this because ayahuasca left me. I wanted to see how a non-dual medicine might change. Maybe there's something here. The next day he arrives with the medicine. I went straight into a non-dual state. There was no fear, there was no apprehension, there was no resistance. Pure states of absolute bliss. It is the most peaceful place, the most familiar place that I've ever been, that I've been there for billions of years. Home. It was just like I arrived. And that experience was very brief, but that really anchored in my body, in my physical being. Since then, it was always the undertone of my life. To me, there's 3 levels of awareness within this medicine. The first part is where you become aware that there is the energetic body. The second part of this medicine is where you have a non-dual experience. You are the love and light. You are one with every aspect of the universe. Then there's a third part to the experience, which is the void. Now, I say the void, but it's not an empty, scary space. It actually contains everything and nothing at the same time. So I'm trying to explain something to you that I cannot. So if I could put any word to the concept of what God or the universal conscious mind is, I would say it's the empty space in which the light appears. The empty space in which all possibilities can unfold. I rather wanted to work with that knowing anchoring that in my body. And how am I going to live my life knowing this truth? It's what we do with that message that matters. So at that point, I was already serving Kambo to a lot of people. I was doing groups. I was already working with the medicine quite intensely, quite professionally. Anxiety, PTSD, complex PTSD. So going into deeper levels of understanding and release. This is how I slowly started to introduce it, because I could see that there was a crossover between releasing in the body, releasing in the mind, and then where that can bring you in releasing deeper into who you are. I started to build on this, different ways of working with it and experimenting with it. With regular clients, working on different protocols, see what works, and then eventually getting to, yes, this is it. I think for me, it brought me to a point where I feel that I now hold space for others to go through their own process of letting go, of waking up to who we truly are. Each person a unique expression of this one divine energy. Each little experience, each part of our own experience, we have to bring it into this awareness of ourselves. So for me, the teaching of Know the Self starts here. So if we go with the normal psychological models of the past and we simply focused on, say, the body, mind as a vessel, as a machine that somehow is broken, and that if we fix this machine, then we will fix the emotions of it. And that somehow that is one part. But in that model, we are excluding the spiritual aspect. The disconnect that people feel from themselves is a deeper longing to understand or know themselves. The magic can happen when we can find the crossover between the body, mind, and then into non-dual states of awareness. Healing for me, and certainly what I observe in many people that I've worked with over the years, is a letting go. So it's letting go of every concept, even the concept of healing. It's really a taking away rather than adding to it. Taking away sometimes the understanding or wanting to understand, but rather that, yes, there was this thing. I don't think we are ever meant to stay with any experience within our lives. This is not the point. So I can say that we suffer all the same, and I've met people from all walks of life from around the world, and we all suffer the same way. We suffer the mind. It's not what happened to us, it is our reaction and then the holding on to that that creates the ultimate suffering. Every part of us, every part of our experience deserves love and compassion, and being very, very honest, really looking. It's not about learning anything new. The truth that we seek is already contained within us, whole and complete. Each aspect of ourselves is like little children running behind us, screaming, just love me, love me, love me, love me, bring me back, give me this love, give me this part of myself that I just needed at that time. And what we do in our modern day lives is, no, I don't have time for this now. Not now, I can't deal with this. I shouldn't be like this. I should think positive. I should be like this. I should be ideal. I should be perfect. I should be like this. No, no, not now. And of course the child screams louder and louder and louder for attention. Each part of us is still that little child. We are stuck in that trauma state that happened to us when we were 3 years old. We are still stuck there. We are still that child. We are not a separate entity from that. And so bringing that love, compassion to this parts of ourselves, like I did with my illness. Can I be okay with this? Can I create space for this? Yes, 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 yes. Fully integrating that into our lives. So to seek pure pleasure, healing, health, and happiness will bring you deeper into the disconnection from self. I always say it is not about pursuing happiness, joy, or an idyllic life. It's about finding peace. But of course, this is going to entail a lot of other things are going to happen. We are having a human experience. And so really, it is about not living less, but about fully engaging into life, soaking each part of it deep into your bones and then letting it go. But this is a process. If we do not take responsibility and become our own guru, what will happen is we will find the next shaman, the next protocol, the next medicine. The seeking becomes the obstacle. Life has brought me with my illness, my suffering. This was the grace of the experience, my greatest teacher, my greatest guru, my life. And not becoming the guru, but empowering people to become their own guru. I've learned that true healing isn't a destination, it's a homecoming. The goal of this journey isn't to get rid of anything. It's not about escaping the struggles or transcending the pain or pretending it all just goes away. Real healing is about bringing everything back into yourself. The joys and the sorrows. The light of our awareness can welcome it all. It's a deep, powerful acceptance of every experience. The suffering is a call, not just to wake up, but to wake in.